There's a new brand here at the Düsseldorf Boat Show called Sterk. It's a German brand, and 18 months ago it set up a manufacturing facility in the Ukraine. That was hit with 2 missiles, destroyed everything, including their molds. So the project was set back. But now they've established a new builder inside Germany. So this is 100% German built, this boat, and that carries a certain cachet of its own. And I know what you're going to say with that kind of reverse bow, that stepped hull, those elegant lines, those big day boating spaces. You're probably going to suggest that this is inspired by Axopar, and that's probably true, it probably is. But it's distinct from Axopar and Saxdor and the rest of those kind of fast, open day boats and weekenders in several important ways. And we'll start with the hull and mention a couple of those. Now, as I say, it's got steps to introduce a little bit of air to that planing surface, increase efficiency and speed. So we have a chine here, an extended chine that increases the beam for a bit of extra internal space, but it also provides a useful job in the form of splash deflection. And if I come underneath here and check out the spray rails, you'll see that the spray rails have little lips here that come down, and the job of those is to add a little bit of cleanliness and aggression to the handling of the turn, because with a lot of stepped hulls you can get a little bit of slip. You can wash out in a hard turn, and this apparently adds some tremendous grip when you throw it into a hard turn. And you very well might, because this is quite a performance boat. If we come around the back here, you'll see that this boat is currently rigged with twin 300 horsepower 4.2 litre V6 Yamahas, and that should be good for around about 60 knots. But there are engine options. You can spec it with as little as twin 200s for around about 38 knots, or you can even spec it with a pair of 450 horsepower outboards, which would apparently get you speeds in the region of 80 knots. So that in itself is quite impressive. But let's step on board and check out that aft cabin option. As I say, you can instead spec this boat with a wraparound C-shaped dining area and a transverse galley with helm seats on the leading edge of that, or the leaning post I should say, on the leading edge of that. Here we just have a pair of helm seats forward, a 3-man bench I would say, forward facing behind those, and then this big sunbathing pad. And of course this conceals the aft cabin, which we'll take a look at right now. Now this is a two-handed job, so I'm going to pop the camera down for a second, and if I step down inside, you see the entire thing is mattress lined, but there are windows that look out onto those side decks. They're opening windows in the centre there, so you get plenty of ventilation. And the idea here is not that you sleep fore and aft, because it's only, let's say, it's only probably about 5 feet. The idea is that you sleep lengthways. And if I jam my feet against that bulkhead there on the port side and rest my head here, you see I've still got a decent kind of space above there. There's some storage too beneath these cushions. Let's lift that up. Now, beneath this central one here, there's batteries, but we do have some proper storage under here. At the moment, that goes straight down into the bottom of the hull, and you see those big heavy-duty stringers there. Well, apparently, according to the guys here, they're going to organise some proper storage pockets, but they're going to be canvas rather than moulded, because it means you can fit more things in there because they're flexible, and it also means you can take them out to wash them whenever you need to, which is a nice touch. There's not much else to look at in here other than a couple of cup holders drained on either side. Now, inside here we have the oil filters. Inside the other side we have the battery switches and electrics. So it's neatly tucked away And that is, of course, a fairly key principle with a premium day boat. You want all the workmanlike stuff tucked away out of sight. We've got a transom shower here, sunken cleats, of course, to preserve those pretty lines, and quite slick internal grab rails, but with good clearance for your fist. And moving forward, as we do so, you'll see that we've got a recessed kind of alcove, and these are the struts for your sunshade for the forward deck, and you can also erect a sunshade on that aft deck if you choose. So that's quite versatile. It's nice to see that they have their place. Up at the bow itself, well, it's quite a decent size of U-shaped seating area. You can, of course, have a table slotted in there. And I imagine, yeah, there's a decent bit of storage under here too. Yeah, again, that goes right down into the depths of the hull. So we need some liners in there to make that a bit easier and more user-friendly. One thing I do like, though, is the anchor setup up here. Open that up. We've got a pair of rams on here, which means that when you deploy your anchor, these will push the anchor out about 30 centimetres to keep it well away from that pretty stem, well away from those pretty mouldings at the bow, so you don't cause yourself any damage. So that's quite thoughtful. We've got space down there, deep of course because of the plumb bow for chain on the port side, and this is dedicated to storage for your lines and fenders. That said, that's not the most impressive point about this bow space. The most impressive thing for me is this section here in the leading edge of that console. If I can lift that up, another couple of strong rams. I've got to say, actually, everything's very well built here, and that's part of the ethos behind Sterk. They want to come across as a brand that is higher quality, yes, higher price, but also higher quality, more profoundly well built than the Saxtors and Axopars of this world. And the quality, I have to say, certainly feels very good. Now, if I step down into here, well, let's have a look. We've got decent head right above me. We've got opening windows on both sides. They could do with being frosted because, of course, I mean, nobody's going to get down on their hands and knees to peer in, I imagine, but I know that my wife would prefer it if that was frosted. But the space in here is very good. There's a nice little inset step to get out. And down here, of course, we have drainage because we have a shower fitting and a sink. But they've used this space so well. Look how deep we are beneath that deck. We've gone right down into the very depths of the hull. In fact, there's apparently only 17 centimetres between the bottom here and the bottom of the actual hull. So they've really utilised that space well, and they've done so because they want it to be a user-friendly and attractive boat to everybody, including wives and girlfriends and daughters and people who need proper heads and bathroom facilities and who can't just use the ocean in that way. Now, what we have here is, as I say, a 3-man bench. That's like arguably a 4-man bench, actually. That's quite generous. Quite nice wrap-around elevated sides, so you can feel like you're cosseted in a corner. And this is a fast boat, as I say, anything between 40 and about 80 knots. So it's good to see this hardtop and this wrap-around screen. Quite a deep-set cockpit, helm position, I should say. So it really does feel very safe and sheltered in there. These seats do not go up and down, they do not go forwards and backwards, but they're going to because Sterk's customers have been asking for that. What they do, however, is reverse, and hopefully I shall illustrate that now. There we are, that's very simply done. So they both reverse to face this bench. So you could seat 6 people in here, fit a table in there, and have a nice sociable lunch under the shelter of that hardtop above us. But what's equally impressive, actually, is the way they've used the space beneath these seats. If I lift that one up. Now this is designed to be used as a big ice box, so you can stick your wine and your beer in there. Now it's not drained, as you can see, but you can simply lift that out and empty out any melt water at the end of a day, refill it and get on with it again. And that's not all. If we look under these bench seats, I'll just remove that cushion so I can see what I'm doing. There we are. That is an enormous built-in 55 litre fridge, and it's the same under that seat. So you can have two 55 litre fridges there, chest fridges, or you can have a fridge and a freezer, or two freezers, whatever you fancy, plus those two ice boxes under the helm seats. So you are not going to go short of drinks at a party on this boat. And of course that's quite important, because as a boat in this sector, a premium day boat has got to be perfect for alfresco partying. Clearly then, although the Sterk 31, the first boat in the Sterk range, appears to mimic in some ways the likes of Axopar and Saxdor, it feels actually very singular indeed, very distinctive. People do certainly enjoy the ideas they're putting forward, and so do I, frankly. It's very well built, it looks superb. There are some very distinctive day boating design solutions, and I have to say it's a very serious day boating proposition, and it comes with a very serious price tag. If you want this boat, prices go from around €370,000. That is an awful lot of money. But that's where Sterk wants to be. It wants to be known as a very serious premium day boating brand. And if you want one, you're going to have to pay the price.